Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
The Russian invasion.
The heroic Ukrainian resistance.
It's the biggest land war in Europe since World War II.
And the War in Ukraine Daily brings it all to you.
From Moscow to Washington.
From Kyiv to Mariupol.
The War in Ukraine Daily talks to newsmakers around the world.
And to the everyday Ukrainians whose very existence is threatened.
You hear the heartbreaking stories of those caught in the war.
But also hear about the acts of bravery as history is being made.
I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Charles Feldman, inviting you to join us.
The War in Ukraine Daily on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your wages are being garnished. We can stop that now. It's hard enough to pay your bills when things are good, let alone when a big chunk of your take-home pay is gone before you even get your check. I'm bankruptcy attorney Travis Gagne, and I can stop the garnishment and get the creditors off your back immediately, often the same day as our consultation. Both Chapter 7 and 13 provide bankruptcy relief, but choosing the right chapter is crucial. In a free consultation, we can create a plan to get your finances back under your control. The chapter you choose sets the tone for the next chapter of your life. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. And this week's Loud and Local Band of the Week is Apology Wars.
They all say, I wish you weren't this way. I wish it could be better. I wish it could be better. They all say, I wish you went this way. I wish it could be better. I wish it could be better.
It's our Loud and Local Band of the Week, Apology Wars. You want to find out how you can get their information, you just check it out, BJ and Mig's page, KISW.com.
I'm sorry, but last year they put out an EP. Actually, 2019, it's called The Best I Can Do Is Ruin a Party. And plus, they have a brand new song they recorded with Jack and Dino. You're hearing it now. It's called Better.
Nice. Don't forget, Loud and Local, it's a great show as well. Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, 2 solid hours of great music from the Pacific Northwest. Bands like Apology Wars.
Let's play Beat Mix. I will beat anyone that calls in to play the game. He's smarter than you. He'll make you look lame. 60 seconds on the clock. You're going down and I'm gonna rock. It's time to play the game. Yeah. So everybody scream his name. Beat Mix. Don't be a loser. Whoa. Beat Mix. You're a loser.
It is time to beat Migs, and we've made it. It's Friday. Gotta get down to Blue Friday. And Danny's quarantined. He's probably jumping at home.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Friday,
I'll text him.
Getting down on Friday.
Danny, are you jumping?
Yeah! Fun.
I'll let you guys know when he texts me back.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's going
Friday,
to love
everyone.
that text. This is if he wanted to try to sleep in at all.
Sleep in. He's still technically working.
Yeah.
If he doesn't answer, that means he's not up. That means he's slacking on his job, BJ.
I agree. Oh, look at that slacker.
This isn't a vacation. This is a quarantine.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
chlamydia.
Nobody would ever
Right.
take advantage of that and maybe get a few extra Z's.
Well, then he's doing it right. That's a fact. I'm sorry I woke you.
Let's get to our contestant. We've got Greg in Tacoma. Greg, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Greg. All right, Steve, get out of here.
Okay.
For those playing at home, Greg will have 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Greg, pass all you want, but you will only get 3 guesses per question. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Finish the famous slogan, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's what?
Pass.
The internet abbreviation HMU stands for what?
Pass.
The Ravens are a football team that play in what city?
Baltimore.
Yes. Who plays the title character in the Magic Mike movies?
Channing Tatum.
Yes. What is the capital of South Korea?
Soul.
Yes. What type of tea is flavored with the oil from the bergamot orange?
Earl Grey.
Yes. Who released the Humpty Dance in 1990?
Pass. I can't think of it.
Gal Gadot was born in what Middle Eastern country?
Syria?
No.
Libya.
No.
Pass.
In what decade was David Bowie born?
60s?
No.
70s?
No.
50s?
No. 1, 2, 3, 4 correct.
All right, then.
Yeah, not the best score.
No.
Not the worst score.
No.
A score.
Yeah, that's a score.
Yeah, probably not one that's going to get a win either. But, I mean, Steve could have that Friday feeling and not listen to any of the questions or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything could happen.
Oh, anything could happen.
Yeah.
But you're still not going to bet breakfast on it.
Oh, hell no. I already told you my 2021 resolution is not to lose my beard again and not bet.
Well, you can bet other things besides your beard.
Yeah, but
mustache.
Yeah.
I like this mustache now. It's kind of nice.
And what about the kids? What if we have people want your beard next year when we're doing the coats for kids? You're not going to do it?
Yeah,
Well,
what about the kids?
I have to keep growing it at this point in time.
All right. So you're willing to do it for the kids, but you're not willing to just bet for breakfast?
No way.
You know, Steve.
Stakes need to be higher. I know how much this beard is worth now. It's worth $20,000.
How does that have anything to do with breakfast? I don't understand.
I want a $20,000 breakfast. If that's the case. I wonder what that would be.
A lot of caviar, and I know you don't like that.
That someone's had a $20,000 breakfast.
Oh, yeah, we talk about those stories where it's like something that was like, drizzled with gold.
Yeah.
It's like some weird like
Drizzled with gold.
Okay, well, I don't know if I wanted that on my breakfast. I don't need some drizzled with gold. That seems lame.
the R. Kelly special.
Oh, no.
Hey, this just in. I want you guys know, I know a lot of us are wondering, and the texters are too, whether or not Danny was jumping, even though he's quarantined.
Okay.
Is Danny jumping?
Yeah.
So I texted him saying, Danny, are you jumping?
Yes.
No reply.
Oh.
Yeah, he's sleeping. I
That
told you
means
he's sleeping.
Danny is sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Monday, he was like, they might check on me Monday. But if he was smart, he would know this is the day.
But
It's
today's
Friday
the day
feeling.
where if he was smart, he would get up
You're
on
right.
Friday because we would wonder if he's jumping.
Yeah, he didn't think this through very well.
Danny, why haven't you answered me? I'm texting.
Yeah.
Then question mark text. I'm going to get all psycho ex-girlfriend on him.
Oh, do it. Do it.
Where are you?
Maybe
Why aren't you responding to me?
Maybe we'll find out by the end of the game.
Ooh.
60 seconds.
Yeah, he's got 60 seconds to respond.
Oh, are you ready?
Or, I don't know what.
Yeah, right.
Go Hawks.
Finish the famous slogan. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's what?
Maybelline.
No.
Oh.
Maybelline.
Diamonds.
No.
What was the question?
Finish the famous slogan. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's what?
You got this.
Coffee.
No. The internet abbreviation HMU stands for what?
Hit me up.
Yes. The Ravens are a football team that play in what city?
Baltimore.
Yes. Who plays the title character in the Magic Mike movies?
Isn't that Channing Tatum?
Yes. What is the capital of South Korea?
Seoul.
Yes. What type of tea is flavored with the oil from the bergamot orange?
Burger tea?
No.
Green.
No.
Earl Grey.
Yes. Who released the Humpty Dance in 1990?
The Humpty Dance is your chance to do the hump. Oh, do me, baby. Do the hump, the hump. Digital Underground.
Yes.
Nice.
Gal Gadot was born in what Middle Eastern country?
Israel.
Yes. In what decade was David Bowie born?
Decade of the 50s.
No.
The 40s.
Yes. What actor played Hunter S. Thompson in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Johnny Depp.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You win 9-4.
Sorry about that, Greg.
No problem. Nice playing with you guys.
Hey, have a good weekend.
Good game. Good
You
sport.
Yeah, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping that we're feeling that way at about 4:40 Saturday afternoon.
I hope so.
Now, BJ, the way that you were kind of making fun of Steve there for that first question, it seems like you know that there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's...
Yes, I'm shocked because the listeners in their 40s, Steve's in their 40s, I thought they would know this. For everything else,
I
there's
thought this was
MasterCard.
super easy. Yeah.
MasterCard?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, now I hear it in my head.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
you were
some
close
things that money can't buy.
Sort of with Maybelline. It starts with an M at least.
Maybe there's Maybelline. Isn't that the thing?
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
And then there's Who Wears Short Shorts.
Which ones are those?
That was Nair, right? Isn't that from Nair? Who wears short shorts?
But these are all the dumb jingles that are in my head.
I think so. I think it would have to be Nair because it was about hair removal, right?
Yeah,
and that's why they could wear short shorts.
Because they took care of the hair down there.
Who wears short shorts?
When you think about it, they were the first ones going, maybe you should do some shaving, girl.
Or you don't like to shave? Well, here's some stuff that just gets rid of it.
I think they started it. They're like, you know what? Nobody likes the Bush family anymore. Why don't you do some shaving, girl?
Congratulations on your win, Steve.
And I don't know if this is true, only because I just learned this from Fargo, but they say it's based on a true story, which means it's very possible that credit cards might have been started by Americans. It's real because part of the Fargo storyline was Chris Rock's character goes into a bank trying to convince a white dude at a bank because he's like, they realize that in the black community, they have to expand beyond the black community to get the credit card situation working. And they said, look, we can get people to borrow on credit. And they showed him a card, showed this dude. And Fargo is famous for saying, look, we don't change the facts. We just change the names in order to protect the innocent.
This is the first I've ever heard of this.
So I was sitting there watching it going, okay, if they haven't changed any facts, is this true that in fact credit cards were actually created by the African American community, but nobody bought into it in the Caucasian community because again, nobody just believes anything at all except if it wasn't created by a white guy? Because this was back, gosh, I feel like it was back in the 50s when this particular episode took place.
No.
Yeah, and I never realized that, which is like, how many innovations do we not realize that were created by just marginalized groups? But, the white dude took over. So that, I don't know if anybody knows that, if they do any research at all, but Fargo says everything's true that comes through. And, Chris Rock created the credit card apparently. And, but it was, what a revolutionary idea, like forward thinking, saying if we get people to borrow on credit, they'll get stuff now and we'll make money off of that. And the bankers were like, we're not going to do that to our customers. Like it was considered a horrible thing to think that you would get a person to use a credit card.
And now that's how
everybody does it. It was really fascinating.
I forget what show we were watching, but it was like that moment where you realize, okay, there's a definite age gap between my wife and I. When we were watching this show, and it was based in like older times, like 70s or 80s, and someone's buying something with a credit card, and they're just like, they're swiping this thing so that the numbers would show up on a piece of paper.
Yes.
And I was like, what the hell are they doing? And I'm like, oh, wow.
Wow.
I barely remember it because this is before I even had a credit card. For as long as I've known, when I've had a credit card, I've had to like insert it or swipe it or something along those lines. But there was once a time where there was no computers to do that. And when you paid with a credit card, it would like make it
was like a carbon copy.
A carbon copy, yeah. And then that's how they would get your information, and then eventually the charge would show up on your card.
Yeah, I forgot all about that because I used to work retail, and of course we had to do that all the time. Those card printing, whatever the hell you call it.
It's like a little swiper thing, and it's just like then the numbers show up.
I remember, the only reason I remember what those were was because my parents either owned or worked at the restaurant a lot in my younger years. So I would be hanging around, running around the restaurant. I just go behind the hostess counter and just play with it. I was just like, swipe. Yes, the swiper thing. Yeah. So, I remember it vividly.
Swipe. Yeah, it's like one of those pressure things. Like when you press down on it, the other copies all of a sudden get stuff put on them.
Like an ink, like a little film of ink.
Yeah.
Like a piece of paper that puts that ink on. I don't even know.
Is it kind of like the receipt papers? Like when you write
it wasn't as
like,
cool as that receipt paper, Vicky. Actually, receipt paper is even better because you don't need that carbon thing anymore.
Well, no, they had
I know what you're talking about. The old receipt papers you'd sign, and then it would also show up signed on the other paper.
Yeah, there was like the yellow paper, the pink paper. I know you get it like at auto places, like when you get your oil changed or whatever, they'll give you a copy.
Yeah, I see.
Very similar to that.
Very similar to that. That's exactly what it is. I thought you were talking about the newer version where you could write on the receipt and it would make its own letters. It didn't need to. Like if you press down on it, it would make its own. It was just a thing.
So they did it in Home Alone too. That's probably what it was. We were watching Home Alone 2 during the holidays. I bet that's what it was.
That's how old Home Alone is.
Yeah, because Kevin had the credit card.
Yeah.
When he went to the hotel.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Texter. How is it that you knew that? That's amazing. If there was a trivia game on Steve's World, you would win.
Well, when you think about it, when else are you watching a movie that old?
Right.
Really,
Holidays.
it's just that's those holidays. It was like watching Christmas Vacation and just seeing how old everything was and what they didn't have and all the stuff that was, really or considered brand new at the time because, Elaine from Seinfeld was in that and they had all the new fancy stuff and all their new fancy stuff looks so damn old, but it was new and fancy at the time. But then you realize, wow, this movie's old.
And it's funny now because I remember that being when my parents would pull out a credit card, it almost like the person on the other end looked just annoyed. Got to get out the machine, got to put the card down, got to swipe it, got to enter all that. Cash was considered the fast way of paying things. And I think nowadays if somebody whips out their wallet, you almost are rolling your eyes oh, great, now they got to count their money and give me their machine, and a credit card's the quickest way to pay something.
You're absolutely right. I hated credit cards. It was just such a pain in the neck. Plus, you got that all over your fingers. I'm like, Dan, don't you just have the money? Especially if somebody would charge something like $10. I'd be like, you don't have $10 on you right now, really? All right, thanks.
Someone says they used to call them knuckle busters.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, gosh, that brings back memories.
Yeah, but it's so crazy to think that's just not even... There's not a single place where you would go where they would use that.
No.
And if you do, you might want to think twice about buying something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I wonder if someone's got a museum of those. You know what I mean? Because I don't know where they all went. They have to still be around somewhere. That's got to be something that you museum up.
Someone says some places still have them in case the computers go down. And it's called a shunk.
A shunk.
Is that really what it's called?
I don't know, but that's the sound that it made.
Yeah.
Shunk.
I don't feel like that's the real name.
That can't be the real name.
He is one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time.
Oh, man, thanks.
And he will be a guest on our show. Not working on our show. He's a guest on our show. Stone Cold Steve Austin will be joining us at 7:20 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
Everything is better electrified. Like the guitar, toothbrushes, or cars. And Hyundai has the widest range of electrified vehicles on the market, including the first ever Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. You can use electric when you want it or gas when you need it. It's your journey. Evolve it beyond the pump in the 2022 Tucson or Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. Visit your nearest Hyundai dealer or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
Have we figured out how to explain deja vu? How do chameleons do that thing they do? Do you really need to wash your blue jeans? Yeah, you do, but how often? Hey, my name's Mike Simpson. I've got a podcast about curiosities. It's called I've Got Questions. We go through my list of random stuff and yours. Please participate. Send me your questions. I'll find someone to answer them. We've talked about our true crime obsession, how grocery stores are tricking us, super secret flight attendant stuff. I've Got Questions. New episodes Thursdays on Odyssey or wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Waiting on Steve Austin, and while we are, of course, he's got a great new show, by the way, which already has a second season ready to go.
Yeah.
Straight Up Steve Austin it returns for their second season starting this coming Monday night at 11 o'clock on the USA Network. A very, very fun show where he basically does a lot of great outdoor, cool activities with some celebrity guests and wrestling guests as well.
Yeah, I think he's got Charlotte Flair as one of the wrestling guests this year. But after that, it's like Brett Favre, it's Ice-T.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. He calls it like an action-adventure talk show, which I think is a funny way of describing it.
I'd say, you know what? That's a good way to put it. And he's got Bert Kreischer on there. And so I'm looking forward to that episode because Bert also just has these bizarre kind of interactions with celebrities, especially with the Cabin show that he did. And,
I think he's on the phone.
This is perfect.
Dude, I'm very, very, very excited about this. BJ, this is someone that, just doesn't even really need to introduce the guy. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And it's an awesome show, Straight Up Steve Austin, back this Monday for season number 2. Please welcome to the show, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Stone Cold, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome.
Hey, man, thank you guys for having me.
So season 2, I mean, you know, Steve, season 1 was so much fun, and what I love is that, man, you know, it seems like your guests are so happy to talk to you because you basically are going, hey, let's pretend we're kids again, and we're going to go have fun while I ask you a couple of questions. What a great idea!
You're the first person to put it like that, but yeah, it kind of is that way. You get a chance to go do some really cool stuff, and along the process, hear the stories about how they got to where they're at or whatever. But man, the show is designed to entertain the viewer and just be a good time. When we're not solving the world's problems, but it's a damn fun show, and I've had an absolute blast doing it, and I've met so many wonderful people in the last 2 seasons.
And I know you're a big football fan. How surreal is it that you're just posting up there with Brett Favre in this upcoming season?
Yeah.
Well, you know, getting a chance to meet Baker because, you know, I watched his career at OU. You know, last year was really cool, and to go to the Cleveland complex. So this year, hey, man, you know, Brett and I are almost the same age, so I've watched his basically entire career. And so to wonder, like, okay, you see this guy out there on the field, exuberance and just the ultimate leader, alpha male. Okay, how is he going to be just kind of hanging and just chill? Man, I shook hands with Brett and said, hey, man, let's have fun today. And we clicked right off the bat, like just basically like I did with every single guest. And it was just wonderful to go down there and hang out with a guy who's one of the greatest of all times and the ultimate gunslinger.
You know, Steve, you say that and we're talking to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Make sure you check out the brand new episodes of Straight Up Steve Austin. USA Network, Monday nights, 11 o'clock, and it's going to be a great new season, as we've said. Brett Favre, Ice-T, Charlotte Flair, Bert Kreischer, some of the guests. I can't wait for the Bert Kreischer episode. I don't know if you want to give us a little tease at all. You know, if I don't know if you've done that episode yet or not, but I mean, Bert is the craziest SOB you know, but one of the biggest hearts, and I was wondering if you had that impression too.
Oh, absolutely. He's an absolute sweetheart, and he loves to be the center of attention, and he tells one of the best stories. I mean, well, he's the ultimate storyteller, and that's why he's doing so well with the stand-up and everything that he's doing. All his show, The Cabin, I guess just started. But he was amazing. Bert and I actually drank beer together, if you can believe that or not. And he made me laugh so much by dropping one-liners or hitting me with stuff, and half the stuff couldn't make air. I spit out more beer than I swallowed that day just by hanging out with Bert Kreischer.
And you're a big fan of stand-up. I know in your past listening to your podcast, you mentioned guys like Mitch Hedberg, who's one of my all-time favorites. It's got to be cool for you to be able to spend some time just being around those kind of guys.
Oh, and not just guys. Tiffany Haddish is one of my guests, right. And she is lights out on a stand-up. I mean, she will. You better tape up your ribs because I mean, she has a set. And, you know, Girls Trip, kind of a movie that really broke her out. She's like, you know, one of the hottest actresses in Hollywood right now. And she was, I'll give you a behind-the-scenes secret. Me and Tiffany had so much fun hanging together, and we started talking about athletics and track. And I challenged her to a foot race, and she beat me.
I probably would have put money on her. So yeah, Steve, we said you're a big football fan. Obviously, the playoffs are coming up this weekend. We're here in Seattle. What are you feeling about with the Seahawks?
Oh man, I don't know.
I am not. That doesn't make me feel the greatest about me, but having a great time. I don't think I'm going to be smiling at the end with that particular.
You're making us nervous, Steve.
Wow, come on, Steve.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't blame you, Steve. You're right. You're absolutely right. It is tough to call. Is there anybody that you are right? We'll take the Seahawks out of it. Anybody that you're like, okay, I'm really looking at like these guys could go all the way.
Kansas City.
Really? Man, oh man. I mean, you know, they kind of, it's funny. Kansas City has kind of sort of been a team that, they should be good, but for some reason they haven't just been in the eye as much as they were last year in my brain. But they could be the sleeper, if you will, underdog, even though they shouldn't be. You make a good point.
I don't know. It's been a very interesting year in general.
Yeah.
That's very true. Steve, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I remember being at WrestleMania here in Seattle for WrestleMania 19, and that turned out to be your last match. I was wondering if you have any stories that you could share about that. I mean, obviously, just such an epic match against The Rock for a lot of us here in Seattle. It's the only time we've had a WrestleMania, so it was such a magical time for us. But I mean, for you, that was the last match that you had.
Well, yeah, and the night before, I spent in the emergency room before that match because, hell, I'd kind of had I don't know what it was, but my heart, they thought I had a pulmonary embolism. And my heart started beating out of my chest, and a couple of ambulances showed up there to the Grand Hyatt, took me down to the hospital. They ran a bunch of tests on me. They never really cleared me to wrestle, but I was going to wrestle, and it was a very emotional day for me because I knew that was going to be my last match. I think I could have been, I was probably about 90% rather than 100%. And The Rock has always been one of my all-time favorite opponents. And this was, I was going to lose this one, and I was going to ride off in the sunset, and he was going to go on to do bigger and better things. So I'm just happy we made it to the ring. And I'll never forget walking out to Safeco Field. That was such a long entrance, and that crowd, it was sold out, damn near 70,000 people there. It was lit up incredible, and the crowd was with us the whole way. So just a very special moment. I didn't really want to retire, but I pulled the plug on myself, and I don't have any regrets now, but I wish I could stay in a couple more years. But Seattle was always a good place for me and a great town.
I remember being so pissed when
my favorite steakhouse is right there in Seattle. It's a Metropolitan Grill.
Yes.
13 coins for late night stuff.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with either of those.
Yeah. Met Grill's great.
I remember being so pissed when The Rock put on your vest during that match. I was like, "Yeah, son of a bitch." And then at the end, though, I always wanted to ask you this. Like, at the end of the match is over. The Rock's hovering over you, and he's, like, yelling at you. Do you remember what he was saying to you after the match?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've covered that a couple of times. Basically, he was telling me he knew that was my last match, and he pushed the referee away. He wanted to say something to me in private. Well, as in private as you can be with 70,000 people there and millions watching on pay-per-view. And he kind of just under his breath told me how much he appreciated what I'd done for him over the years. He told me that he loved me. And so cool. When he told me he loved me, I'm laying there with my eyes closed on my back, and I said, "Hey, man, I love you too." And that's what was said during that moment.
That's awesome.
What a surreal moment. It's probably, you couldn't, you have a crowd of people, everyone's yelling and screaming. You're having this emotional moment with a guy, like a heartfelt, like one-on-one thing. It's like, but there's all of us thinking, like, just being fans and just screaming and yelling at you guys as that's going on.
Hey, Steve, that is probably one of the toughest things that anybody who's successful has to do is how do you gracefully pass the torch and look like you're at peace with it? Because you know, Steve, we've seen it in so many different examples of sports and everything else where not everybody is so graceful passing the torch, or they don't know when to leave and let somebody else get the spotlight. I do commend you for that.
And it was a hard decision to make, but it was the best decision for me. And if I was going to go out, I did need to pass the torch. We had done business before. Usually I was on, the winning side of that. It was time to pass that back to him, and I did. And I didn't want to leave, and I didn't handle it very good because I didn't have an exit strategy. So I kind of floundered a little bit after that before I got my feet back under me again. But, I went out, damn near, I was in my prime. And that's the problem with it, because I had more to give. But it is what it is. It took me a while to deal with it, and I'm in a real happy place. Well, I've been in a real happy place for many years now, but in a real happy place. I'm loving my show with the USA Network, and because I love to work and I love to entertain people, I hope people enjoy this show as much as I've enjoyed making this show.
And Steve, as and we know you've got to go, so I want to just end it like this. Steve and I both do this for a living, where we talk to celebrities and interview them, and we know how important it is to do as good of a job as possible, prepare and make the interview, something pleasurable for everybody. And it is obvious that the work ethic that you put into pretty much everything you've done in your life, you continue to bring that same level of ethic intensity, which is, commendable, because as we get older and you kind of go, do I really want to work as hard as I've done before in the past? And it does seem like you do. You're like, I'm putting everything into it, and it shows with the show, man. And I just wanted to let you know, good job on that.
Hey, man, thank you very much. I just say that my dad always told me, he goes, Steve, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time, or you're going to have to come back and redo it. So my goal is every single time I go out there with a guest to show them the best time that I can, treat them as good as I can. Our crew is phenomenal, and we want them to. The best compliment I can get is from a guest when they shake my hand or give me a hug and say, "Man, that was the best day of my life." And that's what we strive for every time.
And it sure looks like it when you watch it. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Straight Up Steve Austin is the show. And thanks so much for being with us, buddy.
Hey.
All right, there you go. Just like that, mic drop.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's the PR guy going, oh, crap, we're late. Yeah. Sorry, Steve, you're not even going to get to say goodbye.
Straight Up Steve Austin returns for a second season this Monday night at 11 o'clock on USA Network. It's a lot of fun, man. Brett Favre, Ice-T, Charlotte Flair, Bert Kreischer, some of the guests he's going to have on there. And seriously, I mean, they do some cool stuff on that show while he talks to some
cars,
cool people.
dune buggies,
shooting machine guns.
Yeah.
I mean, high-level riding tanks over cars.
Yes.
I mean, Man,
how could you not have fun?
Even if
the interview doesn't go well, it's like, hey, we're going to just run over things. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I guess we'll do that. All right, here's a question for you. What do you think? That's a great question, by the way. What do you think is the most popular type of fast food during the pandemic?
So it's not alcohol.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's 747 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another listener question. How do I rebuild my credit after filing bankruptcy?
You rebuild it, one creditor at a time by making your payments on time on your rent or your mortgage, by continuing to make car payments on a car that you keep during your case. You can also, as I said, you can almost always get a credit card almost immediately after filing bankruptcy. Sometimes it's a secured card, and it'll almost always have a really high interest rate on it. But you can get a small balance credit card and charge a tank of gas or a dinner once a month on that and make the payment, pay it off every month, and that'll help you build a credit history one creditor at a time, and will help you rebuild your credit over time.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Spend less time in the laundry room and more time doing the things you love. Introducing the Samsung Smart Top Load Laundry Pair, now available at Lowe's. The washer's large capacity means you can fit more in every load. Plus, its super speed setting washes a full load in only 28 minutes. Shop the smart washer that will streamline laundry day, backed by Lowe's Price Promise. Based on using super speed on a normal cycle with an 8-pound load. Terms apply. See Lowe's.com/price promise for details. U.S. only.
Hey, what's up, everyone? You find yourselves trying to get your Craig Mack on and put some brand new flavor in your ear? Well, funny you should mention that because we have a brand new show that you should check out. It is called Pod Sauce. It is your podcast discovery show.
Everyone's always looking for a podcast recommendation. We got lots of them for you, from true crime to pop culture. And you can join us each week as we dish on all of our favorite podcasts out there. So make sure you download the Odyssey app and search Pod Sauce, or head on over to podsauce.com.
We got you covered, guys.